The German election happened, and to be honest, no surprises there. No surprises. You can once again see that the polling system in Germany is very, very good. When they poll, they actually know what the fuck they're doing. And there wasn't really any big surprises. The FDP and the Sarah Zarknecht, Putin-Knecht Partei didn't make it in, which is good. And it looks like we're getting a black and red coalition. Let's take a look here. What happened in the German election 2025?
Vote in the 2025 federal election, with a massive turnout of 84%.
Biggest turnout since the making of Germany in 1990, man. Biggest turnout, I think 84% or something. The world is getting more and more politicized. More and more people care about politics, man.
The highest since 1987. It was clearly won by the centre-right Christian Democrats, with the Alternative for Deutschland coming second and doubling their vote share compared to 2021. Meanwhile, it was a disappointing night for Germany.
So the Red Party, which is a very, very big party in Germany that will always be a big player in politics, I think they had the worst results ever. Who would have thought? Olaf Scholz did not have any consequences out of 3 years of failing. He did not step back. He did not let someone else take over, like Pistorius, who had much better approval ratings. It's just insanity, man. And yeah, what the fuck? It's your fault. To be honest, the Greens should have lost more. I heavily disagree with you.
These incumbent
and
parties.
very, very sad for me that the leader of the Green Party, Robert Habeck, is now stepping back from politics. And I'm sad about that. I personally, in my own opinion, think that's terrible for democracy. He was the only one who still always explained himself, talked to everyone, always explaining himself. And I really believe that in some decades, we're gonna wish we had someone like Robert Habeck when global warming is fucking all of us, man. Very, very sad. Also, the FDP is out of the Bundestag, which is a good thing. They're the biggest idiots ever. And finally, their egocentrical narcissist leader, Christian Lindner, is also now stepping back. So the entire coalition that we had for 3 years, they're all stepping down now. Massive step down. Very sad about the Green Party. And yeah, people are like, nothing is going to change in Germany. I think that's a big change. They're all stepping down. Olaf is gone too. And it is because BSW couldn't make it into the Bundestag with 5%. The Black and the Red Party will now make a coalition, which I think is a good thing. It's very bad in democracy to have a coalition with 3. They just talk too much shit. 2 people in a coalition could maybe bring back Germany. Instability. I also want to say that I'm not the biggest fan of the CDU. I'm not the biggest fan of Friedrich Merz. But at this point, it is maybe time as a democratic European to maybe rally behind him, to give him a chance. Europe isn't raiding. We have to move fast. Trump is going complete Hitler mode, man. Europe has to find its balls. And I think it's not healthy if we now shit on the Black Party that much. AfD CSD coalition, they're called CDU, not CSD. This isn't the Christopher Street Day. And Friedrich Merz has done a great speech in the election night that there's no way in hell he would ever work with the AfD, which is anti-democratic and just fucking retarded people. 20% of people voting for them is a fucking disgrace. But what can you do, man? Maybe people aren't ready for the experiment of democracy, man. Didn't have the GroKo have a bad history? Yeah, 100%. But let's see what happens. Maybe he will actually lower my taxes. He wants to lower rich people's taxes. Let's take a look.
Democratic Party, the Greens and the neoliberal Free Democratic Party all lost vote share. And the FDP...
Make up our rules. Won't the AfD get more votes next time? Probably. That's very likely. What the CDU now has to do is they have to massively fix migration. The only thing right-wingers have, because right-wingers have nothing. They always just, they're like vultures. They only feed off the mistakes of others. They don't have to propose any solutions. That's what populism really is. And if the CDU, in some way, can fix migration a bit and do certain things for migration that the people want, then the AfD will lose votes. You have to show these people, hey, I'm fixing migration. And then you can actually weaken the AfD.
Conservative PSW failed to make it into parliament.
Luckily. And obviously, dude, all of them, right? Everyone in Germany shits on them. At least they have the balls to all step down. Everyone step down. What is Sarah Wagenknecht doing? It wasn't my fault. It's the other people's fault. She even officially said she will, how to say English, she is going to attack the results. She is like saying a fake vote. This is not real. The election is rigged. She actually saying that. That's fucking disgrace, man. That 5% even vote for that shit is just the biggest sadness ever.
So in this video, we'll look at Germany's election results, some recent political context, and what might happen next.
Thank you, Dadman. Thank you.
We're getting remarkably close
back.
to 1 million subscribers. And
what is BSW? BSW is an agent party of Putin. Genuinely, no joke. It's agents of Putin.
Currently, 72% of you haven't yet subscribed.
What?
So lend us a hand and subscribe.
So it's like looking at Twitch.
But first, a super quick recap. The 2021 federal election was narrowly won by Germany's centre-left Social Democratic Party, or SPD, led by Olaf Scholz, previously Merkel's vice-chancellor and finance minister, closely followed by the centre-right CDU-CSU party. The Greens came third, the Free Democratic Party, or FDP, fourth, and the AfD fifth. As a result,
it's interesting how easily manipulatable a voter really is, because you know what happened right before you? It was the big flooding in Germany. There was a big flood, right? And the voters are very, very easy to manipulate. It always depends what is the one big topic right now. What is the pig that's going through the village? And back then it was the big flood. Oh wait, climate change is real, let's vote green. What's the big thing now, chat? Migration, right? It's like people getting stabbed and shit, so now the AfD wins. It often really depends what the big topic is. Imagine there's a big natural disaster before the election, the Green Party gets 20%, man.
Result, Scholz's SPD formed a coalition with the Greens and the FDP, known as the Traffic Light Coalition, because of their colours. The government started out on a strong footing with the SPD's...
Jesus, wait. Fucking hell, wait. Voters are able to stop born to vote, or they said last second. I disagree. I think what the big issue is old people. Most people in Germany are old, and you know what old people do? They vote the same thing they always voted for. For 50 years, they voted red or black, so they do it again. They don't think about that shit deeply anymore. It's old people, man. Old people decide the elections, man. Thank you, Naorji. Thank you, sir. Thank you. 64 fucking months.
Vote share of 25.7% being their best result since 2005. And according to a pre-election Infratest DIMAP poll, a majority of Germans, 51%, expected Scholz to be a good chancellor.
Yeah, where did that go, man? He's not historically the worst chancellor ever.
Plan for the Traffic Light Coalition. Scholz's term coincided with a very unstable geopolitical environment, and his government's response to events like the Ukraine war, the destruction of the Nord Stream 2 gas pipelines, and the Israel-Hamas war, as well as domestic issues like the economy, energy, and soaring crime rates, failed to convince voters.
And he showed zero remorse. Every German chat knows that. The chancellor fucked up for 3 years, massively, no remorse. Always saying it's other people's fault. It's
arguably the most difficult issue for the coalition has been energy.
Like kindergarten.
In February 2022, just 2.5 months into Scholz's term, Russia launched its full-scale invasion of Ukraine, sparking an energy and inflationary crisis in Europe that hit the German economy particularly hard, given its dependence on Russian oil and gas. The subsequent rise in energy prices both undermined German consumer confidence, but also the international competitiveness of German industry, which has been the backbone of Germany's export-led economy since the turn of the millennium. Rising energy prices interacted in uncomfortable ways.
So all the people you see now are gone. They're kind of gone forever.
With the coalition's green ambitions. In 2023, for instance, voters revolted against Scholz's
the girl will come. The girl will come.
Installation of new gas boilers. And at least some voters were unhappy with Scholz's decision to stick with Merkel's nuclear power phase-out in the context of sky-high energy prices. Fueled by anxieties about green policies...
It's obviously interesting how being in government or being a leader is a very complex thing, but it's like a big mistake in a big topic can already end you. In Germany, there was a law about no more gas boilers, right? Which, by the way, isn't like that. It's very, very out of context, blah, blah, blah. And fucking that up costs you 10% already. It's like, if you're a leader of a democratic country, you will have faced like 2 or 3 massive problems, unless you're Trump. And if you fail them, you're already fucked.
And immigration, the AfD surged in the polls and have polled ahead of all 3 coalition parties since mid-2023, while the Christian Democrats have...
This is the human beings though, man. The Blue Party, which is growing, didn't do anything for it. It's just they're feeding from the idiocracy of the other parties. That's the thing. A populist doesn't have to do jack shit. Just has to sit there and wait.
Been
and
way
it works.
Ahead of
it
the
works.
SPD since mid-2022. This has all been exacerbated by constant infighting between the FDP, who refused to countenance significant increases in borrowing, and the SPD and the Greens, who wanted further...
I'm personally going as far as they really hurt Germany a lot. Almost like traitors, man. And they're out of the parliament now. They're gone. 0 of these fuckers, I think, in the parliament. Fuck them. Fuck them.
The borrowing to fund
Very
an
good that they're
effective
gone.
response to all the various crises afflicting Germany at the moment. This culminated in Scholz firing FDP Finance Minister Christian Lindner, and in November effectively imploding the coalition. Scholz then called a vote of confidence in his SPD Green minority government, which he lost, thus deciding to call an early election in February 2025. Now, this brings us to Sunday. Going into the election, the opinion polls had the CDU on about 30%.
And again, you have to ask yourself, what did the CDU, the black line, do to get 30%? Fucking nothing. That's democracy, right? You have someone in charge. It's never going to work out anyway. Everybody hates whoever's in charge, so you vote for the other guy. In 4 years, I'm telling you, clip it right now, see if I'm right or wrong. If I'm wrong, man, I'm going to suck non-subs dick, okay? In 4 years, this black line is down here again. Because it's always the same. It's an infinite... It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Democracy is a fluke, a fake to make you think you have a choice. But the owners, man, the owners, the people that own you and me, man, they don't give a shit what you vote for, buddy. It's all an infinite fucking circle of fuckity fuck, dude.
AFD on about 20%, the SPD on 15%, the Greens on 12%, the Left on 7%, and both the BSW and the FDP.
Yeah, and that's pretty much what also happened. German polling is very good.
Which is the threshold for representation in the German parliament. This meant that a lot would depend on whether or not these two parties made it to the 5% threshold.
Which luckily they didn't.
If they didn't, the CDU and the SPD would probably be able to form a two-party
Which is now what's
coalition.
happening. Yeah.
But if they did, they'd probably win enough seats to force the CDU and SPD to find a third coalition partner.
Which they luckily don't.
In the end, the polls were broadly correct. The CDU finished first with 28.5% of the vote, a roughly 4 percentage point increase from their 2021 results, meaning its leader, Friedrich Merz,
I voted for Linke, yeah. They got 8%, 8.5, which is very good.
Next up in second were the AFD.
The big surprise, nothing was a surprise, but the left party getting 8.5, that was like the one big surprise.
And while
AFD, luckily only 20, I think, not over 20.
Pre-election polls had been predicting, it was still the party's highest ever result, and double what they got in 2021. There was also a stark regional divide here, with the AFD winning the most
East Germany
votes, i.e. party list votes.
East Germany still exists, huh? Look at that. Isn't that crazy how we're just all NPCs? We're just a result of our geopolitical past. East Germany is real. Look at this. This is crazy, isn't it? Isn't that crazy, man? Sometimes I think life is not as complex as we always like to think, man.
In most constituencies in the East, apart from Berlin, neighbouring Potsdam and Leipzig, and the CDU winning most in
what did I say? Sorry?
Votes.
Wait.
Party list votes in most constituencies in the East, apart from Berlin, neighbouring Potsdam and Leipzig.
Yeah, Berlin, Potsdam, and this is where Tommy lives. It's like 3 cities that still are kind of not that Nazi, you know?
And the CDU winning most in the West. Support for the AFD was also higher among voters with a basic education, who were
Oh, wait, that's so interesting. So we have retard non-subs and we have subscribers. Uneducated fools.
Support for the AFD was also higher.
Vote AFD. Okay. The dumber you are, the more you vote AFD and CDU. Okay. And the higher education you are, the more you understand that climate change is real. Look at that difference. 4%, 19%. Jam. We need to educate people more. Subscribe, guys.
Among voters with a basic education, who are twice as likely to vote for the AFD as those with a higher
Twice as likely, man.
Moving on, the SPD...
Thank you, Royal Roboto, man. Thank you.
He came third with 16.4%. Their worst result...
And you vote Die Linke? Yeah. Looks like I'm intelligent. Huh? What kind of argument are you doing? Whoa, I'm showing I'm literally intelligent.
Moving on, the SPD came third with 16.4%. Their worst result at a federal election since 1887.
Did you vote AFD really? First ban today. It's too dumb. The world is getting very complex, and if you're that dumb, I can't. This is not gonna work, man.
Scholz took responsibility for this, calling it a bitter result.
What does the 1% vote for? They don't care who wins.
And a defeat.
No one's gonna touch them.
Aim at the AFD and said, "We live in a democratic country, and we're fighting for democracy." That an extreme right party
You
like
didn't.
the AFD...
You didn't do shit. I go as far as people like this are helping fascism and right wings and even Vladimir Putin. If you would have had the balls to understand your mistakes and let someone else run, you could have had much more votes for the left, man. It's people like this that are slowly destroying us. I believe in this. This is ridiculous, man. It's his fucking narcissistic ego. I'm gonna stay. I'm not stepping down, and it helps the enemies. It helps our enemies. It's ridiculous.
D can get results like this in Germany is not something we can just forget about. Scholz will continue as acting Chancellor until after a new government's formed, although he's still saying he wants the role of Chancellor in government, so we'll have to see what happens here. Next, with the German
he can't be
Greens
Chancellor,
with
this fuckface.
11.6%, a few points lower than 2020.
The Green Party lost the least, which is good. I'm happy. It hurts me that Robert Habeck is stepping down. I think we're losing a big Democrat here.
Greens leader Robert Habeck said...
I'm a huge fan, and I explained many times, you can Google him. Whatever you think about him, there's one thing you cannot deny about him, even though if you hate him. He always talks to everyone, always explains himself, always is ready to be criticized, always talks to media, unlike Friedrich Merz or AfD, always explaining, always trying to find the dialogue. Big fan of him, but he is adios. He's gone. We're gonna miss this guy. I'm predicting we're gonna miss that guy.
But also said that the Greens haven't collapsed like the other coalition parties, the SPD and the FDP. However, Habeck...
Unfortunately, the thing with the Greens is they need natural disasters. Like, legit. I want it to be Habeck the Chancellor, but not the Greens. I think what they need is natural disasters, right? That's when they get crazy votes.
Habeck also suggested that Merz was responsible for the Greens' poor results.
Look at that beautiful hair,
saying
man.
Merz had boosted the extremes, criticising Merz's decision earlier this year to seek support on a hardline immigration bill from the AfD. Die Linke came fifth with 8.8%.
Which is strong. 8.8 is very strong. Very strong. And like I said, I wanted that. I'm happy about that. I think that politics on the world, no one can deny this, are going very right lately. We're really stepping away from the middle into the right. And to me, the left being in parliament with 9% is a nice counterpole. 9% power in the opposition here on the left really shows we're pushing a bit to the left here again, back to the middle.
This left party that was polling below 5% only a couple of weeks ago. Die Linke...
Once again, though, why? You have to ask yourself, why are they growing? Why is the left party growing? It's not like because they do great things. No, it's because people are just tired of all this bullshit. The people saw everyone is just blah, blah, blah. You know what? I'm voting for the left now. Who is the winner in elections? The people that don't have any responsibility. The people that don't need to do shit. They just sit there, dude. The government? The fucking trash. Wow, I'm voting for you, buddy. It's like, dude. And in 4 years, it's all the other way around again.
Also came first with first-time voters and with 18 to 24-year-olds.
The future is left-wing. You can really see young people. Young people are ultra-radical. Young people are either Heil Hitler or they're like, go Stalin. Look at that shit, man. Look at that. The Green Party ain't doing that well, huh, with young people. They kind of lost hope. Look at that. The future is straight up fucking Herzog 4, dude.
Followed in both cases by the AfD. Lastly, the neoliberal FDP and conservative left BSW missed out on parliamentary seats, winning 4.3% and 4.97% respectively.
4.97. I'd be mad too, to be honest. Okay.
So what happens next? Well,
yeah, Volt lost completely. I left hope in Volt. Volt has annoyed me in this election. I'm following Volt on Instagram, and all they do is like, we have to stop white old men. Like, fuck off. Buddy, we have crazy problems. We need to bring Europe together to fight against Russia and idiot Donald Trump. And your biggest fucking policy is fuck white old men. Like, that's dude, there's a bit of a point in that. I get it, but that's not how you fucking get votes, buddy. It's ridiculous, dude. It's just not gonna work. And Volt has really lost me there. Fuck that, man. That's just not gonna work. Volt has to become adults. Follow them on Instagram and watch them. It's just a bunch of rich white kids that are like, well, hi, it's so cool to Volt. I painted my fingernails purple. It's just not gonna work in this crazy world.
Luckily for Merz, because both the FDP and BSW fell below the 5% threshold, the CDU and the SPD now have a majority of seats between them.
Which is good.
And so
That's
will
good.
probably form a two-party
It's better than having three parties.
grand coalition. This is, in many ways, the best conceivable result for Merz. As the past few years have demonstrated, a three-party coalition, which would have had to be formed if another small party had won seats, is difficult.
Why FDP went so bad? Watch the video. We just saw it. Check the VOD. He just explained it.
To manage. And the SPD's poor result means they'll be...
Did you all hear that Trump called Zelensky a dictator? Wait. Didn't the Queen die? Wait, didn't the Titanic just sink? Man, you old news, you fucker. What's wrong with you?
Very much the junior partner in the new government. As a final thing, it's worth stressing that while a return to Grand Coalition politics might feel like a return to normal in some sense, German politics is more fractured than it's ever been. The CDU and SPD achieved their lowest collective vote share ever, so perhaps the main question is whether they can actually stabilise German politics. Many other European countries have resorted to Grand Coalition politics.
Let's see what he does. That man says he wants to lower my taxes, rich people taxes, by 3%. If he does that, man, bro, I will wear a black flag, dude. I'm gonna be CDU all day. If that guy actually does what he promises, 3% less taxes, buddy, fuck climate change, fuck all that fighting the rich people, I'm gonna just join the rich people, okay? Fuck all of you, man. I'm gonna become one of them. Fuck that. That's how you sell me. That's how I sell myself.
Out of government, but with mixed results. Excluding the AfD from government risks burnishing their anti-establishment credentials, and elections across the world suggest that parties benefit more from being in opposition.
Yeah, because they don't have to do anything.
There's a lot happening in German politics right now, and actually consuming news is pretty difficult in the current landscape.
And that was the German election, my dear friends. Yeah, not much to say there. Everything as predicted. Germany kind of doesn't change. Still pretty boring, and we will have to see if Friedrich Merz is gonna actually do something. Anyone who lowers my taxes, man, I will suck your dick, even if I have to invade Poland, man. That's where I am, man.
She slipped in my fingers like sand. Heard that she got a man. Now I'm just sitting here sad. Oh well, shit sail. She slipped in my fingers like sand.